Welcome to the best of high school sports in Northern California. We are Max Prep Sacramento, powered by SMUD.
And we're going to bring you a lot of insight and flavor of National Signing Day, what it means specifically for the Sacramento regions, why it's such a big deal, what happens, and how sometimes it's business both ways, where even guys who think they're going somewhere, they get the carpet yanked from underneath them.
Welcome back for another edition of Max Prep Sacramento, powered by SMUD. I'm Mike Finnerty, joined as always by Mr. Joe Davidson, the Sacramento Bee. And Joe, we are going to do a little bit of we'll call it our letter of intent signing ceremony show. But you're probably thinking, oh, the interviews and all this stuff. No, we're going to really talk. We're going to talk about who signed. Obviously, we're going to talk big picture, what it means, some of the backstories that you've heard about, so the good and bad side of LOI Day and that whole recruiting process.
And we'll drop in some basketball, who's still doing well, some top players and all that. So there'll be some basketball here. But a real theme, why do we cover National Letter of Intent? What's the big deal? What's the big hubbub? Well, college football is big, and the consumer, the fans, can't get enough of it. And you do a Sacramento Bee story on a Davis High School student in Yolo County who is one of 7 in the world to ace a certain calculus test. Nobody cares, even though it's a great story. People want football. They want news. They want to know who's signing where. It's a big thing on social media. Families get involved, and balloons and weeping grandmothers and everything. But we're going to talk about some of the pitfalls as well, the contrast to it. And some of these signings are a little far-fetched, where kids are signing blank pieces of paper.
And we're going to talk
as
about
a
that.
walk-on because of the parental pressure on the school administration to enforce that their kid is involved in this ceremony. And you might as well just sign your hand. Why don't you just sign the desk?
Well,
so we'll talk about some of that.
Save that. That'll be in our Placer Title Company Insiders, sort of our issues with letter of intent signing.
Or issues with life in general.
That's
right.
Joe, in the next segment, we are going to talk about some of the big-time athletes in this area who signed, and there's some impressive ones as always. But let's talk about why we do it. How has letter of intent signing day gotten so big? You've been doing this for numbers and numbers of years, 2 decades and plus. Let me ask you this. What has been the biggest difference from what you've seen, say, 20 years ago to now?
Even 5 years from now, it's social media. And I remember just 4 years ago last week was when Shaq Thompson and Eric Armstead, 2 name players in Sacramento, signed. And now they're both first-round draft picks in the NFL. Shaq Thompson just played in the Super Bowl the other day for the Carolina Panthers. It was a big deal then on social media, where they're going. Eric Armstead, we weren't sure where he was going until he announced. So people like the element of surprise. Some people think, it's too much, it's too campy, it's too ego. Have fun with it. This is their one chance to, this is their moment. This is a scholarship. It's earned as an athlete, as a good character, and certainly as a good player. And so social media is the most significant change.
And I'd say, in terms of my perspective from the last 10 years to why we cover it, I think it's because it's just gotten so darn big. I mean, you have, and again, we'll talk about this later, but you have really, it's not just your D1 football guy that we kind of see on ESPN that they hype up. It's all sports, all schools, and the demand is there. So
the demand is there. The consumer really wants it. The readership is huge. At the Sacramento Bee, huge online numbers. People like it. They're curious about it. And it really revitalizes a fan base. And you're right, it also happens in soccer and other sports, but there's not the hubbub in those sports. It's certainly football-driven. And we've talked about this before. It's always bears worth mentioning again, it's a big deal because of the small percentages of people that get to sign the letter of intent. Tens of thousands of high school kids in America, all scrambling for a scholarship somewhere. And there's only hundreds of scholarships available. So the math never adds up. College programs, whether it's UC Davis, Sacramento State, or Nebraska, or USC, any side, mid-major to large school, they don't have 90 scholarships. They may have 90-man rosters. They don't have 90 scholarships. They might have up to 22, between 15 and 22. Well, there's players all across the country. And a lot of people in our Sacramento region, the Sac Joaquin section, people tend to see only this area. Well, why is this kid not getting looked at, and where's the love for this one? That's my biggest beef of all. Is where's the love? It's not about love. It's, do you have transcripts? Do you have body size? Do you have skill, ferocity? and are you a good character? And you can ruin yourself if you're a high school athlete with boorish, bad behavior on social media. Recruiters will look at that and they'll move on. So that's all kind of this whole windstorm of what's going on. It's compelling, it's interesting, and people like looking at it, like talking about it, and it's all projection. How are these players going to do?
Yep. And you know what's funny is so much changes. Like when you go a year later, you know, you hear about these athletes may have come back, or they didn't like the school, or they come back to junior college, or some issue comes up somewhere. It'll be the same this year. But we'll get more into the negative side. Letter of intent signing day. It happens every November and every February. All right, Joe, that is segment 1 down. We come back. We're actually going to talk about the athletes who put their name to paper, who got to put that autograph legitimately when we come back from the break.
This is your RAM Auto Update.
Just in, the classic term used car is old-fashioned, outdated, and no longer of any particular relevance. Let's party. The Roseville Auto Mall is throwing a massive factory-certified pre-owned sales event. That means incredible savings on just about every kind of car in the world. All factory certified. It's happening now. It's going fast. In layman terms, skedaddle. The Roseville Auto Mall, driven to be the best.
Welcome back to the best of high school sports in Northern California. We are Max Prep Sacramento, brought to you by our good friends from SMUD. They power us, and we feel revitalized. It's always fun to talk about high school sports, and we try to put a big picture spin on it, why it's so important, why it's so significant. We're talking today about National Letter of Intent Signing Day. A lot of players have signed. SACB.com and our friends at Max Preps as well have all kinds of names from all over. It's a good haul. It's hard to get these scholarships, so these kids are pretty excited, and they should be.
Yeah, it's a big day, as always. All right, Joe, but we know that this round, the February signing date, is highlighted by football. So we're going to go heavy on football here, Joe, and we'll just start naming some guys. I think Lamar Jackson from Franklin, the superstar defensive back, terrific athlete. At one time, he was playing quarterback for the Wildcats. He is going to Nebraska. He had a lot of West Coast options, but he's going to the Midwest.
Yeah, and he had offers from all over. He enjoyed talking on the phone with Jim Harbaugh, the Michigan coach, who didn't have to scale a tree or sleep at his house to try to get him. But that was down. That was Final Four. Southern California schools, Arizona State. Why is it such a big deal? Well, he's a big deal. He's 6'3", 205 pounds. As a man, he's an athlete. But the real storyline for Lamar Jackson is he became a very good student at Franklin. His coach, Mike Johnson, called his mother when he was a freshman. It's a great story. He goes, Lamar, come see me in the office. As a freshman, you got a phone? Yeah. He goes, call your mother. What? Call your mother. Calls the mother, grabs the phone, Coach Johnson said, and says, hey, we have to make your son a better student because he could go somewhere. He could get a scholarship. And he did it. He embraced it and became a role model on campus. And Lamar Jackson said, I'm proud to be a role model. So good for him for really maximizing that, because if you don't have transcripts, you don't have a shot.
Yeah,
that's simple.
And the other story with him is he didn't want to move away from the quarterback position. He was a little resistant last year, and that really paid off.
And then he matured as a player. He goes, I'll play anywhere. And he played quarterback and running back, linebacker, safety, and there you go. And Nebraska rarely recruits Sacramento.
Yeah.
Rarely. But Mike Riley's the coach there, second-year coach at Oregon State. Has been in the Pac-10. He knows that California is ripe for prospects.
Yeah, some athletes. All right. And what a big year for him. He was also in the Under Armour game, selected the Under Armour.
And one last thought on Lamar Jackson. He continued to play basketball.
Yes.
He played basketball, didn't have to, but really helps athletes, because if you multi-sport, it's good for you. It's a great experience. But all these national powerhouse programs came to basketball practice to watch him outside of shoulder pads. They want to see his body English. They want to see his does he hustle? Is he coachable? Does he pout? No, he came up great. He didn't have to score and grab rebounds. They want to see what he looks like. So if you're a football player, play another sport so they can see you there too.
Yep, great place to see athleticism, basketball.
That's right.
All right, Joe, let's head up Highway 50 to Oak Ridge High School in El Dorado Hills. And a very high-profile signing here, Ian Book, quarterback for the Trojans. He is going to Notre Dame, and we talked about this a little bit throughout the year. What a sign for them. But, you know, the Irish, they're going to have probably, 6-7 quarterbacks, so this will be a process.
Yes, it will. And Ian Book was initially going to go to Washington State, decommitted. And when he took the recruiting trip with his family to South Bend to look at Notre Dame, he was blown away. Knocked him right off his cleats and said, "This is where we're going to go." This kid is amazing. He's about 6'2". You don't have to be 6'5". You don't have to be Cam Newton size. But Ian Book makes all the throws, and he could throw a football right through a wall. That's why he's going. And he's very smart and very sharp, and he's earned it so big time. We've never had a skill player from the immediate Sacramento area go to Notre Dame. So that's doing something there. All right, one more. Let's go to...
I got one, too.
You go ahead first.
How about Jacob Capra, Placer High, offensive line, plays a little defensive line, but I think he will be an offensive lineman at Oregon. Some big hauls out of Placer for the lineman. Eddie Vanderdoes a few years back going to UCLA. Jacob Capra, his brother Johnny Capra, also playing for Utah. But Jacob Capra, your thoughts?
That's the family will have an empty nest, and they don't have to get 40 gallons of milk every month. So, no, the high character, quality kid, strong, powerful, bright, mature. What a get for Oregon. It's a two-way thing there. So. The linemen are big over the years with the Hillman, especially in the Capra family there. In Placer County, let's stay in Placer County. 2 players from Rockland High School, powerhouse program there, the Thunder. 2 of them are moving on. Defensive tackle Chase Hatada. You've seen him, I've seen him. Good guy to talk to. He's got spirit. He's fun. He's got a great motor. He's going to Boise State. A lot of players over the years have gone to Boise State. And then Wesley Priest, the tight end for Rockland, big, tall, rangy, good hands, going to UC Davis. So nice little haul for the Rockland Thunder.
Good for them.
Contrast that now. Evan Holtz, all Metro running back, all NorCal, terrific player. Not going on. Is he no good? He's very good. That's how competitive it is. And the family is still scrambling, still looking for something. National Signing Day is the first day you could sign. It's not the only day you could sign. So,
good point.
I'm going to throw out a couple more things.
Let's do it.
San Jose State got 2 local guys, both from Antelope. Montel Aaron, the quarterback who was initially going to Temple, and then his offensive lineman buddy, Jalen Lewis. So they're going to San Jose State. That's a mid-major, getting some local good guys.
Yeah, and Keone Stallworth, Consumnes Oaks, he's going to San Diego State.
That's exactly right. He was initially going to go to San Jose State. Yeah. So there's a lot of committing, decommitting. Don't blame the athlete because it goes both ways. Yeah. A lot of colleges do the whole decommit to thing too. Colorado's getting 2 Sacramento area players.
Good ones.
Yes, Trey Udofia, our Sacramento Bee Defensive Player of the Year, cornerback with great speed from Del Oro, is going to go to the Buffaloes. And then Bo Bisharat, the terrific powerhouse running back for Jesuit, is going to Colorado as well. We're going to talk a little bit more about Bo in our next segment on how he was ready to go to a Pac-10 powerhouse, Pac-10 12 powerhouse, and then the red carpet was yanked. And what happened and what it means and who's the bad guy here.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in our final segment of the show. But, Joe, we are only halfway through. Coming up, we have our Placer Title Company Insiders. We'll tell you sort of the things we don't like about letter of intent signing day. We'll also bring our Mikuni Sushi trivia question, so plenty, stick around.
Thinking about whether a solar power system is a good fit for your home or not?
Here, try this instead.
SMUD can help. If you've got questions, SMUD's got answers. Check with SMUD before signing a contract. Visit smud.org/solaranswers.
We're back with more of the best of high school sports in Northern California. We are Max Preps Sacramento, brought to you by our good friends from
SMUD.
It's right over here.
They're right over here.
Yeah, neck it. It's right here, yeah.
Sacramento Municipal Utilities District.
And we appreciate SMUD powering the show as we power through this show and this season. Letter of intent, National Signing Day means that basketball season is still raging on. It means the playoffs is just around the corner. In our last segment, we will break down some of the heavyweight basketball teams. So we do have basketball in the segment, so stick around for that.
That's right. All right, Joe, it is now time for our Mikuni Sushi trivia question. Mikuni! We love this place. We got to get over there more. If we could eat there every day, we'd be happy. But we got a trivia question. You got it this week. Hit me with it.
All right. In the spirit of Del Oro, we talked about in the last segment that Trey Udofia, our Sacramento Bee Defensive Player of the Year, he's signing a letter of intent, or he did, rather, with the Colorado Buffaloes. Who is the number 1 recruit prospect in the history of Del Oro High School, and where did he go?
Oh, I know who this was. Yeah, I do know this one.
No, you don't. I'm making it all up.
All right, Joe. If you know that answer, we'll have it. If you don't know, we'll have it. Either way, we're going to have it in the final say. All right, Joe. Now time for our Placer Title Company Insiders. Every week in this segment, we'll talk news and notes or big picture topic, and we'll go big picture topic this week. Placer Title Company, your title and escrow company in Northern California since the 1970s. All right, Joe, our Placer Title Company Insiders, we're going to talk about the downside of letter of intent signing. So it's not always good, and there is a bad side. There's a downside to it. Let's talk about that. We both have some issues with it. You go first.
Well, first of all, it's a great thing
It is.
if it's legitimate. And we ask coaches and indirectly parents, if you got somebody signing, let us know. What I think is a little absurd is when parents put on pressure on their coaches and their administrations to celebrate and recognize their kids for walk-ons or non-scholarship programs, but they tout it as full rides. Full ride, and it's all over social media and their family, Facebook and all that. It's not a full ride. If it's not a full ride, then just be upfront with it. He's attending the school. But to mislead, it just seems empty-handed and deceiving. And sometimes you've seen it and I've seen it. We go to these signing ceremonies and kids are signing blank pieces of paper just to have the photo op. And why is this happening? Well, it's only fair. I mean, I don't want her to be left out, or I don't want him to feel left out. Goodness gracious. I mean, that's a bit much. Or you've seen it and I've seen it where the school will print out its own slick thing where the principal signs it, the football coach signs it, and the high school athlete signs it. The principal and the coach from the high school will sign a mock letter of intent. Well, who are they faxing it to? To the science department? So that's a little bit much.
Yeah.
In general, it's have a signing, have a good time with it, but don't promote it as full ride letter of intent when you're going to a program that offers none of that.
Yeah, I agree. Well said.
Can I go now?
You
I've had
can go.
enough. Yeah.
I have all those same issues, obviously. I would like to see that, if you basically can still celebrate everyone, have them all in the same room, they wear their college shirt. Those that actually literally have to sign a letter of intent paper, have them there. We all know that they've already faxed them in by 7 a.m. anyway, but have them there to sign. And then you just say, this person is a walk-on here. This person is getting a partial here. This person's going to a Division III for academic. I don't think anyone would care either way.
It would add legitimacy.
Yeah,
to
my
that.
daughter played D3 softball, got academic money. So what? I mean,
That would be Haley Finnerty out of Oakmont High School in Placer County down at Whittier. Let's be thorough in our paperwork here.
Yeah, but I mean,
the poets.
I think everyone has to realize most of these people, 1% go pro. So in the end, your college stop is your final stop, and however you get there is how you get there. And if you're a walk-on, you think you have a good chance to get scholarship money, great. It'll come out down the road.
Chris Peterson with Sacramento Deep Roots is the second-year football coach for University of Washington. He said, what's the big key about recruiting? What's the number one thing? Honesty. It goes both ways.
Yeah, and here's another point you made. You said you talked to someone, and they had said, well, walk-on or scholarship, what's the difference? Well, there is a difference because they are different.
A walk-on,
if they weren't different, everyone would walk on.
That's right. A walk-on means you have a roster spot, but you get no room and board, you get no books, and when the team goes up to the team meal, you don't go because you're not on the team.
Well, and the other thing, too, and this always everyone tends to know but kind of leaves it out, is, you may sign your full ride D1 scholarship, but they could cut you before your sophomore year. You could be gone.
Yeah,
it's not a guaranteed 4 years. So you're signing for the first year, and hopefully you're there long term.
Yeah, and most of them are. And no, it's interesting. All right, when we in our last segment, we're also going to talk about the biggest pitfall of letter of intent. We're going to talk about a big-time running back in California who thought he was going one place. The rug was yanked, and it's a cautionary tale.
Yep, and we got some basketball. We do have some basketball. Stick around.
This is your RAM Auto Update.
Just in, the classic term used car is old-fashioned, outdated, and no longer of any particular relevance. Let's party. The Roseville Auto Mall is throwing a massive factory-certified pre-owned sales event. That means incredible savings on just about every kind of car in the world. All factory certified. It's happening now. It's going fast. In layman terms, skedaddle. The Roseville Auto Mall, driven to be the best.
Thinking about whether a solar power system is a good fit for your home or not?
Here, try this instead.
SMUD can help. If you've got questions, SMUD's got answers. Check with SMUD before signing a contract. Visit smud.org/solaranswers.
Welcome back to the fourth and final segment, usually our best segment, as we talk about the best of high school sports in Northern California.
I would say our best work is
don't
when we
interrupt.
talk off
I still got the floor here. The best of high school sports in Northern California. We are Max Preps Sacramento, powered by. Now you have the floor.
SMUD. Like I was saying, our best conversations are off camera. They're good stuff. All right, Joe. Yeah, Sacramento Municipal Utilities District. A big thank you to SMUD for basically propping up this show along with our Mikuni and Plaster Title Company and the Roseville Auto Mall. All right, Joe. Final segment. You have a great story. One of the things we talked about off air, and that's how this came up. Well, you gave the tease. A running back in this area had a tough letter of intent a few days.
Yeah, Bo Bisharat, just a terrific young man, great scholar, heck of a bowling ball running back for Jesuit in Carmichael. For 8 months, he was committed to Stanford and completely cut off communication with all the other colleges. Thought he was going there. Went to an official visit in January down to the farm, brought his family. Then they met with the coaches and walked across the grounds, and this is just wonderful. And then they go into the team store and buy $1,000 worth of Stanford gear. And then within a short time, Stanford notifies the Bisharat family, said, we're going in a different direction. So next time you bemoan a high school kid for, quote, decommitting, it happens all the time in the reverse. This is business. It happens. It's cutthroat. Nothing's binding until you sign that national letter of intent. That's just business. Bo Bisharat said, you know what? We wiped away the tears. We moved forward. It's a learning lesson. It's a big-time cautionary tale for upcoming recruits. His message, his theme to other recruits is have a second and third option because you never know. And be classy and be professional about all of it. He signed with Colorado after Nebraska, Arizona State, others all scrambled to get him. So he landed just fine. But you talk about a whirlwind. This is a teenager. He said, roughest 2 weeks of my life.
I can imagine. I mean, that's not what you're thinking about when maybe your
it goes
sophomore
both
year.
ways.
Oh, yeah.
It goes both ways. Colleges are looking at an army of people, literally, and the high school kids are looking at a lot of schools. So it goes both ways. Then we get all the 99% of the other people across the country in high school, and they're looking for anything. So anybody who gets a scholarship, they understand they're very fortunate.
And let's go back to, we haven't mentioned this too much in this show. Junior colleges are great options. We have some great programs in this area, and we've seen plenty of guys go to the junior college level in our area and get big time Division I offers after that. They just need more seasoning.
There is no shame in going to a junior college because it's a haven for the overlooked or the bounce back player. You're still a team, and you prove yourself all over again. Division II, Division III, don't have the attitude that is Division I or bust. It doesn't. Go where what fits. Your daughter had a great time at Whittier. Haley Finnerty, she owes me one, played softball for Whittier for the Poets, graduated, got a job. It's not Division I, but it was a great Division III experience.
Well, and when you look up and down NFL rosters or NBA rosters, they aren't all Pac-12, the ACC. They're not. You look up and down. They're colleges sometimes you've never heard of.
Hey, Stephen Curry is pretty good. I understand.
He's pretty good.
He's the NBA's elite player. Went to a mid-major, Davidson.
Yep.
That's not named after me. I thought it was. But,
if you're good, they're gonna find you. It doesn't
exactly
matter where
right.
you're at.
And one last final thought is. Recruiters for any sport do not care about statistics, wins or losses or strength of schedule. They do not care about that. They want to see film that pops. They want to see an athlete. They want to see size, skill, athleticism, and they need those grades.
Yep. They do need the grades, and that's probably the one area where high school does come in. Football, you're mainly recruited from your high school experience and some of the summer things they're doing. But most really, all the other sports we're talking about, they're recruited through their club teams.
Exactly, and no grades, no chance.
That's right. All right, Joe, let's this is our letter of intent signing show, but let's quickly hit on some basketball. I think the theme for hoops, same teams every year. We're looking at the standings, we're looking at your rankings in the B, and on the girls' side, it's your Oak Ridges, your McClatchys, your Sac Highs, those teams.
And Antelope.
Antelope was a great team.
It's the same powerhouse programs. The playoffs are coming up. We will preview all those playoffs here in the coming shows. Antelope, unbeaten. Oak Ridge with one loss. McClatchy a powerhouse, Sac High a powerhouse. Those are the teams that expect to be in the Sac Joaquin section finals and in the NorCal finals and maybe even in the state finals. For the boys, Modesto Christian, loaded again. Sacramento in Division II, the top-ranked Division II team in the state. They look like men. That's a terrific team. Sheldon, Folsom. It's the same good teams, but that's fun. It makes it fun because somebody is out there going to get upset. Somebody's going to pull an upset. And one of those boys' teams and one of those girls' teams may get bounced. That's why you got to watch the playoffs.
And I don't think you mentioned Folsom. I think they're kind of in the thick of that. Did you mention that?
I did not, and I will walk out of here with shame. No, Folsom is the defending Sac Joaquin Section Division I champion. Jordan Ford's their terrific two-time Sacramento B Player of the Year. I got so much in my brain that I forgot about Folsom.
Well, I would debate that.
You know who's upset? Folsom's upset, but not now. We're good.
Yeah, all right. All right, Joe, hope you enjoyed our Letter of Intent show. Wanted to kind of give you a different perspective, you know, the ups and the downs and some stories and some of the things that kind of will tweak us a little bit. We got more shows throughout this year. We'll end this show late in June, so we got plenty on the horizon with basketball playoffs. Spring is just around the corner. Those teams are about ready to start practicing.
Yeah, and one final thought as we bow out here. I am proud to announce that I have committed to more regional coverage excellence.
Well, you better get a paper out. I don't care if it's blank. I want to see that sign.
I'm committed to that.
All right.
Not decommitting from anything.
All right, folks. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week.